It would start with a blast, a huge mass of plasma spewing from the surface of the sun.
These are giant eruptions that can send the energy equivalent of 10,000 Category 5 hurricanes.
For most of your life, the sun has felt like a background character, reliable, predictable, the same warm disk rising every morning without fail. But that calm surface hides a violent truth. The sun is not peaceful. It is a roaring nuclear engine the size of 1,000,000 Earths, constantly boiling, twisting, tearing itself apart from the inside.
Twisted and unstable, desperate to spew their energy, they create a magnetic bomb, primed to explode.
And sometimes it lashes out. Hard. In 2025, solar scientists are warning that those lashes, solar flares, may be the next big threat humanity isn't ready for. To understand why, you have to picture the sun not as a glowing ball, but as a tangled battlefield of magnetic forces. These magnetic fields snap, collide, and reconnect with unimaginable power. When they do, they release energy equivalent to billions of nuclear bombs in seconds. That explosion is what we call a solar flare, a burst of radiation so intense it travels at the speed of light. The moment a major flare fires, Earth has only 8 minutes before the blast of high-energy particles slams into our atmosphere. Most flares are harmless. Our magnetic field protects us like a shield. But every few decades, the sun releases something much bigger. A flare so powerful it doesn't just disturb satellites. It can punch through electrical systems on Earth itself. We've seen this before. The Carrington event of 1859 was the largest recorded solar storm in history, so intense it set telegraph lines on fire. Imagine that today, with a world dependent on satellites, GPS, power grids, aircraft navigation, stock exchanges, hospitals, water systems, and the entire internet. Now imagine a flare even stronger. The fear isn't fantasy, it's physics. NASA and NOAA have been tracking the solar cycle, an 11-year rhythm of rising and falling activity, and 2024 to 2025 marks the peak. More sunspots, more magnetic chaos, more chances for the sun to erupt. And recently, that's exactly what it's been doing. Flares reaching the most extreme classifications.
Economists have modeled exactly how all this science could play out and cost the US economy billions of dollars.
X-class have surged, some unleashing shockwaves that traveled millions of miles, throwing plasma into space with the force of titanic explosions.
So we know that if there was a space weather event, it would mean that the US economy would see somewhere between $10 to $40 billion worth of gross domestic product lost per day.
Here's the part that keeps scientists awake. The sun is unpredictable. You can map its cycles, but you can't control them. Sometimes it fires off a flare so fast the particles outrun our warning systems. Sometimes it launches a coronal mass ejection, a massive blob of solar plasma, directly at Earth. A flare alone is dangerous. A CME behind it is catastrophic. The flare hits first, knocking out communications. Hours later, the CME arrives like a freight train loaded with billion-degree plasma. If it hits the right way, it can collapse entire power grids in seconds. What would that look like? Experts describe it in chilling terms. Global darkness, mass satellite failures, long-term blackouts, GPS going offline, planes rerouting blindly, financial networks freezing, emergency services failing, and cities losing water pressure as pumps die. And the terrifying part is how long recovery would take. Replacing a power grid transformer isn't like replacing a blown fuse. It can take months, sometimes years. Humanity can handle a hurricane. A solar storm is a planet-scale disaster. This isn't hypothetical. In 2012, a solar eruption equal to the Carrington event missed Earth by just a few days. If our planet had been slightly further along in its orbit, we would have taken a direct hit. NASA described it as a near miss of historic proportions. Most people never heard about it, but engineers did. Governments did. They realized something obvious but uncomfortable. We are vulnerable. The irony is that the more connected our world becomes, the more fragile it becomes. Satellites are the backbone of modern life. Banking, transportation, weather forecasting, communications, global positioning, everything flows through them. A strong flare can fry their electronics. GPS, which pilots, ships, and millions of drivers rely on, can go dark instantly. Astronauts on the ISS would have to take shelter in radiation-shielded modules. Even high-flying aircraft on polar routes would need to divert because the flare supercharges Earth's atmosphere and disrupts radio frequencies. A solar flare is not just a space event. It's a civilization event. But here's where the story shifts. Those same scientists who warn of danger are also racing to build protection systems, early warning satellites, hardened power grids, backup communication channels. The challenge is monumental. Humans have never built infrastructure with the sun's rage in mind. Most of our systems assume Earth is electrically calm. One extreme flare would shatter that assumption. And yet, some researchers believe solar flares aren't just threats. They are messages. Not literal messages, but natural signals reminding us how young our species is. The sun has been erupting for billions of years. Solar storms shaped Earth's early atmosphere, influenced evolution, and may even have contributed to the chemical spark that created life. Solar flares created the auroras that ancient cultures worshipped as cosmic spirits. And one day, a solar flare may force us to bury power lines, shield satellites, harden grids, and act like a civilization that plans instead of reacts. Still, the danger remains. In 2025, satellites recorded something unsettling. Multiple sunspot clusters bigger than Earth itself merging, twisting magnetic fields into tight coils of energy. These are the kinds of structures that produce superflares, events thousands of times stronger than anything in recorded history. These superflares have been observed on other stars. If our sun were ever to unleash one, it wouldn't just disrupt technology. It would rewrite the history of Earth in an instant. But the sun is stable enough that superflares are extremely unlikely. Still, even a moderate extreme flare, something slightly stronger than the Carrington event, would be enough to cripple modern civilization. The crucial question is not if another major flare will happen. It is when. Solar activity is rising, and each flare is a reminder that the sun is not a gentle companion. It is a star, an unpredictable, boiling nuclear storm we orbit with blind faith. The good news is that we have warnings now. Space weather satellites constantly watch the sun's surface, identifying sunspots, monitoring magnetic activity, and analyzing the telltale ripples that precede a flare. When an eruption happens, alerts go out globally within minutes. Pilots adjust routes. Power companies brace for geomagnetic fluctuations. Satellite operators rotate spacecraft to limit damage. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. Still, some scientists think we're not doing enough. Governments rarely treat solar threats with the urgency they deserve. Funding rises after a solar scare and evaporates when the sun calms down. And that cycle could end disastrously. Because the sun doesn't care if we're ready. It will flare on its own schedule. But here's the twist. Solar flares may also hold the key to unlocking one of humanity's dreams. Technologies like fusion power, the idea of capturing the same energy that lights the sun, are improving. By studying solar flare physics, scientists learn how magnetic fields trap and release colossal energy. That knowledge pushes us closer to building clean, limitless power. In other words, the sun's violence may one day save us. This duality, danger and opportunity, is what makes solar flares so fascinating. They are nature's reminder that we live on the edge of something enormous. They are warnings wrapped inside wonder, destruction wrapped in beauty. You've seen auroras, green rivers stretching across the sky. Those are solar storms brushing Earth. They are gentle versions of events that can rearrange civilization. Every time you look at the sun, you're looking at a star capable of shaping destiny. The light hitting your face left the sun 8 minutes ago, meaning you're always 8 minutes behind whatever the sun is doing right now. If a massive flare erupted this instant, we wouldn't know until it was already here. That's the unsettling truth behind the question. Are solar flares our next big threat? The answer is yes, but not in a movie-style end-of-the-world way. Not in a fireball swallowing Earth way. The real danger is simpler, and in many ways more frightening. Cascading system collapse. A flare doesn't need to scorch the planet to break modern civilization. It only needs to break the right wires. Solar flares won't wipe us out, but they can push us backward. They can shut down technology we take for granted. They can remind us that our fragile digital world depends on a star that doesn't know we exist. And as the solar cycle peaks, one thing becomes clear. Humanity is entering an age where the sun finally demands our attention, not as a warm, friendly light, but as a force we must respect, prepare for, and understand. Because the next great threat to our civilization may not come from space invasion, rising seas, AI rebellion, or asteroid impact. It might come from the star we trust the most. The sun giveth, the sun taketh, and one day soon, the sun may strike.